This is the story of the Tyler family, and over the course of 4 generations, they have helped change the way Iowans eat and drink. It was a lot of hard work, determination, and foresight that brought the Tyler family to the present day. And it all began with this man, Frank Pierce Tyler, affectionately known as Perk. The year was 1877. Perk Tyler arrived from Villisca, Iowa from Wisconsin, following his heart and fellow school teacher Flora Pascoe. They then married and bought a 40-acre farm. After a few years of teaching school and beginning a family, Perk needed a way to make extra money. In the 1880s and 90s, Perk started businesses that fit the needs of the community. He began by making and selling barbed wire, gradually adding a dray business. He also sold and delivered coal, kerosene, handmade bricks, and ice blocks. Perk even managed to buy an amusement park with a lake. The last addition would prove to be the most influential. It was the lake from which he cut ice from in the winter, that he could make ice cream in the summer for the visitors. And in 1905, he did just that. Pure as the heart of childhood would be the slogan for Tyler's Ice Cream. By this time, his children had been attending college, and in 1909, the 4 sons, Harry, Henry, Harvey, and Roy, bought the ice cream side of the family business. Perk decided to take some time off and was elected mayor for 2 terms. He also served on the city council for the next 30 years, was a deputy sheriff, a mason, and an Oddfellows. The Tyler brothers' ice cream business was growing rapidly, and the sons needed expansion. They found a creamery and bottling company in Clarinda, Iowa, not far from Villisca, and in 1912 they bought it. The previous owner had been bottling soft drinks and distributing milk and cream. This would let the Tyler brothers broaden their product line. One day, while cleaning out the safe, they found something extraordinary: a franchise agreement with a budding soft drink maker from Atlanta, Georgia, Coca-Cola. They were making ice cream, ice milk, and cream, and now could produce soft drinks. With their business ever expanding, they built a new facility in Villisca. Having the same foresight as Perk, the brothers decided to buy a dairy farm to produce milk and cream for the creameries. The Tyler brothers now began bottling flavored soda under the Tyler name. In 1915, they started making the Coca-Cola soda.
Let's say a customer bought a case of orange. Maybe they'd take 2 bottles of orange out of it and slip 2 bottles of Coca-Cola in the case and to get distribution.
It didn't take long that people started asking for it. The Tyler brothers' business continued to grow. Henry was in charge of production and Harry took the financial and sales part of the business. At first, Harry would ride the train from town to town to take orders. Later, he purchased a motorcycle to accommodate his schedule. Prohibition had begun, and the Tyler brothers added more products to their existing line of Tyler brothers brands of sodas, ice creams, butters, ice, candy bars, and Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola was really starting to take off across the nation, and people started requesting it more than the Tyler brothers brands. In 1924, Harry and his wife Lois decided to start their own family and adopted Jim and Joyce. In 1926, Harry and Henry bought the Shenandoah plant. This was to facilitate the growth the Tyler brothers were experiencing. It was at this time a company out of St. Louis called the Howdy Company would bring the Tyler brothers different extracts for sodas they were experimenting with.
They'd come in and Ham would have a gallon jug of extract. And Mr. C.L. would say to my dad, "Harry, I want you to bottle this up according to this formula and go out and sell it if you can, but give it away if you have to. But I want to know what people have to say about it. Whether they like it, they don't like it, it's too sweet, too this, that, the other thing."
One of these extracts was 7-Up. It started gaining in popularity, and in 1928, the Tyler brothers started officially bottling 7-Up. The Tyler brothers were the 11th company in the U.S. to bottle 7-Up. The Tyler brothers now wanted to focus their attention solely on bottling flavored sodas. So in 1929, they sold the creamery to a company for half in cash and half in stock.
Well, then before they could cash the stock in, the crash came. So they actually got about half what they thought they were getting for the business.
As the soda business grew, so did the Tyler brothers. In 1930, Henry and Harry bought plants in Atlantic and Creston with warehouses. Now they were making Tyler Brothers flavors, Coca-Cola and 7-Up. By this time, Jim was 6 years old and already starting to take up the family tradition.
You could always get a few scraps of ice. Don't take the big chunks, just take the scraps and throw it in on those bottles and go up and down the street. And Coca-Cola 5 cents, Coca-Cola 5 cents.
In 1936, they purchased the Grand Island plant in Nebraska. The Tylers now had plants in Clarinda, Shenandoah, Atlantic, Creston, and Grand Island. Coca-Cola was now a mainstream American product. Henry and Harry were making soda as fast as they could keep up with the demand. Perk, being so proud of his family and working so hard all of his life, passed away on August 8, 1940. Jim was 16 years old by this time and washing bottles at the Clarinda plant. That same year, the Tylers built a new plant at Atlantic. In 1942, World War II sugar rations were in effect. The Tylers could only use 50% of previous year's usage. Jim had graduated high school that same year and enlisted in the Air Force. After processing, Jim was accepted for flight school and began his intensive military training. After completion, Jim was based in San Severo, Italy, where he would fly combat bombing missions against the Germans. Upon completing his tour of duty, Jim came home in the summer of 1946. In the fall, Jim decided he was ready for college and started at Simpson. Meanwhile, Harry and Henry built a bigger plant in Clarinda. The war had ended and the sugar ration was finally lifted in 1947. The Tyler brothers could now resume regular manufacturing. In 1949, Jim graduated from college and married his high school sweetheart, Dorothy Dottie Hendrickson. Jim was now working in the ice plant and was a route salesman at both the Atlantic and Creston plants. After a meeting with a banker, Harry and Henry decided to divide the Tyler brothers' business up. They hired an estate planner who came to the conclusion that all of the plants were of equal value. Being the cordial brothers that they were, they divided the company up the best way they knew how. And on August 1st, 1949, they drew straws for all of them. Harry received Atlantic and Creston. Henry received Clarinda, Shenandoah, and Grand Island. In 1951, Jim and Dottie started their own family. This was the beginning of the fourth generation of the Tyler family. Business just kept growing, and every year sales continued to grow. Coca-Cola was now an American icon. In 1955, Jim had now worked his way up and was running the Atlantic Bottling Company with Harry. Jim worked hard to convince 7-Up to utilize premix in addition to bottles, and the Pine Steakhouse in Atlantic, Iowa was the very first business in the world to serve premix 7-Up in canisters. It was the end of the 50s. Jim and Dottie had added 4 girls and a boy into their family.
1, 2, 3, 4!
The 60s were here and the Tyler kids were growing up.
Growing up in the Tyler family in Atlantic, Iowa was it was good. It was great.
We drank lots of Coke, lots of Tyler flavors.
Growing up was special because, like at May Basket Day, we didn't give out candy and stuff. We gave out Coke.
Coca-Cola and 7-Up were bigger than ever. So the Tylers decided to stop making the Tyler brother brands of sodas and focus on the national brands. It was the 70s. Jim and Dottie's children were now going off onto their own. On January 22, 1972, after a life of dedication to the family, Henry Tyler had passed away at age 81. In 1974, Kirk graduated high school. He had already been active in the Tyler family business, working in the plants as a young man, preparing to run the family business like his forefathers. In January of 1975, Jim got a call that the Des Moines Coca-Cola plant was for sale. The Des Moines operations were not in good shape. They were not reliable in delivering products, if they even had products.
Our working conditions were not the best at the plant there at Fleur and Watrous. There was not a lot of upkeep done on the building.
The service was terrible. The product was great if you could get it.
Jim knew he could turn it around, and on April 1st, 1975, the Atlantic Bottling Company acquired the Des Moines franchise market. This would triple the Atlantic Bottling Company's market share. January 4th, 1981, was an emotional day for the Tyler family. Harry Tyler had passed away at the age of 92. Along with Henry, Harry had built the family business to what it is today. With the passing of the second generation, it was now time for the fourth generation to make its mark. Harry and Jim, having learned the old-fashioned way, Kirk had the advantage of modern technology. After graduating college in 1978, he attended the Coca-Cola Sons of Bottlers School in Atlanta, Georgia in 1980. This would bring him and the Atlantic Bottling Company into the new era of manufacturing, distribution, and marketing of the Coca-Cola family of products. Soon after that, Kirk moved to Des Moines and began marketing and sales for Atlantic and the Des Moines markets. It was 1985, and Coca-Cola was about to do something inconceivable.
It's Coca-Cola with a new taste, a new sensation, a new explosion of wonderfulness in your mouth. Go ahead, try it.
It's just how you feel when you know it's for real.
We've got the taste.
It's a kick, it's a hit, it's a Coke. Coke is it.
We're really sorry for any discontent that we may have caused for almost 3 months.
In 1989, continuing Atlantic Bottling's expansion, Jim replaced the Des Moines plant with a new distribution facility in Waukee, Iowa. It was a smaller town, and they felt comfortable there. In 1991, Kirk Tyler's time had arrived. Jim took over as chairman of the board, and Kirk was named president. The Tylers have kept the tradition going on when others were long gone. They kept old business relationships strong and forged ahead with new ones. The 1990s were prosperous, and the Atlantic Bottling Company continued to grow in both market share and productivity. In 1993, the Atlantic Iowa Chamber started the Coke Days celebration. This was a chance for the community to celebrate how proud they were of the Atlantic Bottling Company and its commitment to the community. The Tyler family were happy to be a part of this, and 16 years later, the event has grown to be the second largest Coke memorabilia event in the nation.
The Tyler family, they're, I would call them good stock. They're good people. They're people here in Atlantic that you're proud to have as part of your community. And, you know, as I'm out throughout the state marketing the Atlantic and the surrounding area, I get a lot of people who say, well, I know the Tyler family, and it's a name that, you know, obviously carries some weight because people know and respect them and respect the type of business that they run, and they're people that we're proud to know.
I want to change the tone of Washington to one of civility.
In September of 2008, the Coca-Cola Company recognized the fact that the Atlantic Bottling Company, for 26 consecutive months, achieved 100% quality of products in both taste and packaging, which is the longest sustained period of perfect production in the history of Coca-Cola North America. In 2009, as 100 years of the Tyler family and Coca-Cola come to their first century mark, the fifth generation will carry on the values and commitments held by the previous 4 generations for another 100 years and beyond.
I'd like to buy the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honeybees.
What's your favorite soda?
Coke Zero right now. I switch 4 or 5 times a day.
Well, you know, I like Fresca, and I've always thought that the Coca-Cola Company was missing an opportunity in not making Fresca a more prominent product in their portfolio. They're always bringing out new products, and I said, gosh, we got a great one here. But when I don't drink Fresca, I drink probably just regular Coke, just regular, not diet. Every once in a while a Coke Zero, but I like a good, fresh Coca-Cola.
My favorite is, and it's really all I would drink, is caffeine-free Diet Coke. I do drink a Fresca every once in a while, but caffeine-free Diet Coke would be my choice.
What's your favorite soda?
My favorite soda is Diet Coke. But every once in a while I have to have a Coca-Cola. But I try not to drink a lot of Coke, obviously for weight reasons. But every once in a while I just have to have a Coca-Cola. And if I eat out somewhere and I have to have a Coca-Cola, like a fountain. That's the best.
Okay, I have one final question.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever had a Pepsi Cola?
I don't think so. I can't remember that I ever had a Pepsi Cola, and I haven't regretted it at all.